Yo, 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 what is going on, you beautiful folks? We are finally back after a good 2 week break, good old rest, busy lives, and shit like that. But you know what, guys? We're here talking about Marvel's newest show, Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about it today on my walk home from class, and I'm like, we're always excited for these characters that are like B or C list. And that's Marvel's thing, baby. And you gotta love it because honestly, going into this, I knew nothing about Moon Knight or really anything at all. I started learning more as the trailers came out. People started posting things on Twitter. But this is a really fresh and interesting take on the universe that we haven't really seen yet. Egyptian gods. I'm in. The Mummy, love that movie. And that's I knew, Deeves, I knew that's exactly what you thought of, baby.
Literally have that in my notes.
Literally, I knew exactly what oh my God, I smacked my mic. Literally what Deeves was thinking. Yeah, this just gave it all the vibes. Ethan Hawke was amazing. Oh, you know what? I got to backtrack. Welcome back, guys. So glad we're here. Moon Knight's great. Let's get into it. How are you doing, Deebs?
Doing well, man. I'm like you, Ryan. I don't know really much about Moon Knight, so I'm just joining this journey with everyone here. You know, I'm just gonna enjoy it as it goes. I think it's only 6 episodes, but this episode 1 was an absolute banger, man. I'm excited to break this thing down.
No, absolutely. So honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. I know a lot of people was expecting Daredevil levels of like violence and stuff like that. And while I will say, I don't know why a lot of people expected that watching the trailer. I definitely didn't really expect it too much. Yeah, I know they did the whole CG edit with the blood and stuff between one trailer and another right after all the Netflix shows from Marvel came over to Disney Plus. But I'll say this is relatively violent for Marvel, and I like it, especially when he wakes up in the little town that's taken by Ethan Hawke's character. I still got to remember the names. I'm really bad at them. I should put a list up right now, but that's besides the point. When he had that little transformation into Mark, and he's holding the pendulum, and his whole hand is bloody. I'm like, wow, that's like the most blood we've ever seen in the MCU, other than like Thanos's purple blood coming out of his chest after getting smacked in the chest by oh my God, I love it so much, guys. But Amanda, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm good to be, I'm really happy to be back with you guys for another Marvel show. I'm so stoked. Moon Knight is phenomenal. I'm obsessed. I didn't know anything going into this. I'm happy I went in blind because I think they're doing a really good job introducing this character. And Oscar Isaac is god tier casting. Like, I don't feel like he has to grow into this character. I just feel like he is this person. He's been playing this guy for years. And I think the one word that I can really describe the first episode is just really impressive. So, yeah, I love this. I'm just so happy with this first episode. Ethan Hawke's a legend, so, yeah.
I mean, that was 2 words, but who's counting?
Sorry. I'm gonna take I'm just gonna say impressive.
Now, I gotta say, while going into this first episode, didn't expect much before, but I was really impressed how the first episode really just kept us really intrigued and really just kept me wanting more to see Steven. I know a lot of people complained about the way Oscar Isaac has his accent in this show, but honestly, I really dig it, and I think it really helps differentiate the different personalities between Steven, between Mark, and between the Moon Knight persona. I don't know the Egyptian god. Like I said, I don't know much. They didn't tell you that in the first episode, and I know people are probably going to be like, it's probably Khonshu, I think. It might be. Yeah, I think it is Khonshu, but fun little fact, Loretto might like this one, but F. Murray Abraham plays Khonshu in this show, or is the voice of Khonshu. I don't know if you knew that, or I just like excited you, but why don't you tell us your thoughts on the episode, my man?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. You guessed correctly, sir. I am a huge F. Murray Abraham fan. Shouts out Last Action Hero. That is F. Murray Abraham. I recognize the voice, but I wasn't quite sure. It was on the tip of my nose. I saw it in the credits. But I gotta say, guys, before this show started, I woke up bewildered as Steven did because I literally fell asleep before this show started, and I woke up. I thought I missed it. I woke up. I didn't know what was happening. I was questioning, do I have another personality that just took me over for half of my day? That's just how the week has gone for me. But going back to the Moon Knight, I had fun. It's the mystery and the intrigue is definitely I feel just as perplexed as Steven does, and I think that was the intent. However, not knowing much about the character and not knowing what the hell is going on, I would say for a good 20, 30, almost 40 minutes, I had no idea what was happening. I was just along for the ride, and I think they want the audience to feel that way, but it didn't take any detriment away from my enjoyment of it. But I just was so confused, and even when the credits hit, I still don't know what I just saw. So I can't wait to get some recap on what I missed. But overall, it was fun. And
I got a question for you after.
Is a charming man.
I had that vibe too, Lo. And as someone who loves fantasy genre TV shows and stuff like that, that's the vibe I had in this show was, shows like The Wheel of Time, other fantasy shows, they don't hold your hand whatsoever. They literally just throw you into the middle of something that's going on, and then they'll kind of spoon feed you some exposition and things like that, 3 or 4 episodes down the road. Meanwhile, in episode 1, you're looking at imdb.com and trying to figure out who the heck is that guy and that guy. And I had that vibe as well, but I love that part of this. That was actually one of my positives of this episode or the premiere was that, they really just throw you into this thing. We literally got, spoilers, the villain reveal. We literally got the costume reveal in the first episode. This series is not pulling any punches. I feel like it's going to be a true roller coaster ride starting with episode 1. Typically, they have kind of that villain reveal in the 4th episode. I really respect this show, kind of flipping things on its head a little bit compared to other MCU shows.
No, yeah, absolutely agree. I want to ask you guys a question since you brought that up. Now, do you guys might have feel this way? Because if I can remember just from the first season of Daredevil, I know this is a weird switcheroony on this show. Within the first 2 or 3 episodes of that season, the first season, they had already referenced the MCU. And within this first episode we see alone, it's totally disconnected, dissociated, and you really feel like you're in this different universe, this different world that's separate from literally what we just saw a few months ago with Spider-Man No Way Home and breaking the multiverse and shit like that. And I think it might be how refreshing it feels going into a new world, exploring these new characters that we don't really know. And honestly, the opening of this episode is fucking awesome. Watching Ethan Hawke's character Harrow, oh my god, I don't know why I'm mispronouncing that, breaking up glass with his cane, putting it in his shoe and walking up. And I like the little added detail of him moving it around too to make sure he gets the whole surface area with inside. It might not be the biggest chunks, but even getting the little bits in the little thing. Thinking about that is oh my god, bro, this guy's holy, what the fuck is going on? And I thought Ethan Hawke was great in this first episode. He really just showed you enough he didn't do a lot. He had that 2 scenes of the beginning and him doing I don't remember if it was a sacrifice, but when he sees their past, present, and future, and the god Atia sees if they're a good person within the past, present, or future. And that alone is freaky, but I think what he brings to the performance, and I think it's really freaky, and it could be something that I'm trying not to say anything because I don't want Amanda to make a face. I really don't.
I'm gonna. Okay.
I don't want Amanda to make a face
because
I'm afraid if I say something,
I'll cover my mouth. Go ahead.
Cover like everything like this.
Okay, go.
She's seen 4 episodes because she got them, so she knows. But I just hope we get to see him just be more brutal, because you feel him holding in this darker side, but having more of this religious of sacrificing people. And I don't know, it's the mummy shit, bro. It's Egyptian gods, and it's definitely different from the MCU.
Yeah, I see him as a pretty sympathetic villain. I don't even know if he's the true villain of the show. I would guess yes. That opening scene was terrific, man. It showed you that like he truly believes in whatever his faith is. I'm not sure what that is just yet, but it's really, you know, a burden as much as it is a gift. That was just hard to watch. That was just hard to watch.
Like, even when
I thought he was terrific, man. Just great performance. And I love the fact that this episode is about you know, Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac. Like, how many times, like, you know, like other shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or like Hawkeye, they introduce amazing characters and they give you an episode of them and then they're gone. And this show, from all, you know, considerations, it seems like we are talking about Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. And that's got me really excited that we're really going to have this, you know, character study of these two amazing actors and characters.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. And I think that's a really unique thing about bringing Ethan Hawke onto a project like Moon Knight and in the larger aspect of the MCU, because he's relatively a smaller film actor. Mm-hmm. He does more indie projects. He does more of those horror projects. You don't really see him in these type of big budgeted films like the MCU, these big superhero, multiverse, dimensional type of films. Well, this project might not deal with that. I feel like he brings a lot to this role from those small indie films. He brings a lot of that emotional depth that he's learned into the MCU. And I think that's the really unique thing that the MCU's in right now. They're in a really nice spot where they're big enough to where I think they can get these type of actors to come in and give really award-worthy performances that can only enhance their movies, because the Marvel is just so massive now, and I really feel like they can get top-tier actors to come on now. I mean, that's all I have to say to that. But like, Loretta, what are your thoughts about Ethan Hawke in this episode?
Well, if I recall, didn't he win for Training Day? Best Supporting Actor? I know he was nominated for sure. I can't remember if he won or not.
I don't think
Denzel won for Training Day, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Hawke has an Oscar.
Oh no, Ethan Hawke was just nominated, right?
Yeah, I don't think he has an Oscar. Because everyone was pulling for him for First Reformed, the Paul Schrader film, and then it never panned out to get the nom for it.
Well, anyways, but regardless of that, I mean, he's the type of actor, just like Ryan was laying out for us, he's a really talented actor that's known for his more dramatic and independent film type of work. And I think I hate to make this reference because I don't want to take anything away from Ethan Hawke. I think he's great. He's an excellent actor, but it just reminds me of, like, for example, Tony Leung in Shang-Chi. Those type of actors bring a sense of gravitas to the role, a sense of they command a certain amount of respect. Like, for example, when Tony Leung walks into a room, you know he's in the room and he commands your attention. And the same thing with Ethan Hawke. He is an established actor that he just walks into a room and looks at the camera. You know what's up, and you could feel his presence. And I think that type of reserved approach to his villain so far, I think that's been the most exciting part for me. I think Oscar Isaac is doing a great job with the dual personality thing, but I think that we have yet to like touch the tip of the iceberg with Ethan Hawke. Like, he's gonna get crazier, he's gonna get deeper, and I think this is just like the tip of the iceberg for his character. But I'm excited to see what else he's gonna bring to the table.
And that's the thing about his characters. You can feel he's holding this just stronger self, his darker, angrier, more violent self within, and he's very sporadic. You never really understand what he's gonna do or what his future plans are. Throughout this episode, I'm sitting here, I'm like, what is this dude gonna do next after each scene? Because he is this sporadic, unknowing character that really keeps you guessing. And really kept me entertained and really kept me going for most of this episode. And we'll get to Oscar Isaac right after this. But Amanda, what did you think about Ethan Hawke?
Oh, I echo what everyone's been saying. For me, it's the subtlety. I think it's the subtlety of him knowing everything and being 5 steps ahead of everyone. And then also kind of like manipulating you to think that what he's saying is the truth. So we don't know if it's the truth or not. I think it's just really interesting and complex of a character. I think that you have Ethan Hawke, who's just a phenomenal actor, going toe to toe with Oscar Isaac, who has been like personally like sailing under the radar, and he deserves more recognition. So you have him going toe to toe. Fantastic actors doing great work before this. But yeah, Ethan Hawke, man, like it's just the fact that he's so reserved, and then he makes you hang on his every word. His line delivery is really strong. He makes you listen. As Lo said, like he commands the screen, and it's awesome that we have him. And I can't wait for you guys to see more of him because he's so good. It gets better. That's all I'm saying.
I was gonna say you're like 3 steps ahead of us, but yeah, we feel.
Told you, cover your fucking.
I'm saying
face.
he's good. What do you want me? Like it's fine. It's good. Yeah,
Our favorite commenter is back.
Tyler, my wife we were literally watching this at like 5 a.m. and Nicole's like, a razor phone.
Oh man.
Hey, there was a time in my life I thought that was one of the coolest phones on the planet.
Oh,
And that says a lot about me because I'm old. So
I thought the slide phones where you hold it, you turn it to the side. Yeah, I thought that was the coolest shit when I was younger, bro. That was my thing. But
yeah.
You know what? I think the biggest buzz about this show going into it was Oscar Isaac being attached to it. Oscar Isaac's fucking fantastic, and this man he's just been banging them shits out one after the other, my man. Especially in Dune. Holy shit, he is one. He can grow a beard that I am very jealous of. That's all I want to say. But guys, I really love what he did with this character or characters within this first episode. And man, Amanda, stop. You keep making these faces like, oh, I wanted.
I'm just
Covered.
agreeing with you in silence.
No, that is not agreeing.
With you in silence.
You're looking like you just want to be like, oh my God, Ryan, you just don't even understand what he's about to do.
I'm not saying that.
And it's bothering me because I can just see it below your facial structure.
I'm sorry.
In the hollows. But I love Oscar Isaac. This man can really do anything, and he really brings a certain gravitas and unique character aspect and quirkiness within Steven and this really cool, badass, broody type of character that you kind of get a sense of. You don't really see Mark too much throughout this episode, but when you do, you kind of get the idea that he is the primary character. And I think he is the primary character in the comics. I think Mark Spector is the I'm gonna say it again, primary character, and I found it kind of weird that we were starting off with Steven.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. He has multiple personality disorder between the two.
So I think that Mark is supposed to be the dominant one, right? That's why it threw me off.
Mark is like the main one. He's the main personality.
It threw me off when he woke up and we introduced to Steven, and I'm like, where's Mark?
That's why I really liked it, because I asked myself the same question, but once you first see him kind of go through that phase shift between Mark taking over and killing everybody, that's when it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh shit, we're just seeing Steven because that's the character they want us to see the lens through, because we're watching exactly what happens to this character, so we only know as much as he does. And I think that's what the real thrill of this episode was. And we'll get to that last minute and a half in a second, because that was great. But I think it builds up to that moment so well. But Deeps, I know you had something to say about that.
Yeah, to go back to what Loretta was saying, what I liked about Mark's character was that he's completely aware of Steven, but like I think what makes this really interesting is that Mark made a date for him. Mark set him up on a date, and that clearly shows that, you know, there is some.
And got him a new fish. Got him a new fish,
clearly. And I think that's really exciting because not only are they separated, but they're together and they're rooting for each other in many respects. And that's the part that I kind of like thought about after the credits hit, was I'm really excited to see those two eventually become one. I think that's what this is about. Like, if I think that's where we're headed.
Deebs, you're forgetting one part to that piece, though. There's three. You're forgetting about Khonshu. And I texted this to Amanda when I was watching the episode. I'm like, bro, it's so bad that Khonshu reminds me of Venom so much.
I love it.
He's just
It's
insulting him. Oh, the idiot, the idiot's a hole now. And after you said that, like, oh my God. So I totally love what you said and agree with what you said, Deebs. And it's going to be a really interesting dynamic when you see those two personalities and Khonshu's personality towards both of them differently. He obviously has much more respect and aptitude towards Mark, and obviously knows Mark can get the job done, and knows what he needs to do, while Steven is kind of like this scared wimp, won't ask this girl out. He works at a gift shop in a museum. He won't speak up to his boss, and all these different character traits just colliding. It's kind of just like if you added another personality to Venom. It's really what it is. If you added a more middle ground character to Venom, that's really what it'd be. But Moon Knight's much fucking cooler than that. But Loretto, what are your thoughts, my man?
On the personalities or just in general?
Just in general. I mean, yeah, personalities, how he handles them.
I think for me, like, I mean, I didn't mean to come off negative earlier, but I think for me, the most fun I had.
Coming off negative, bro. You can't be negative.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually really, I'm having a good time, but I really liked how F. Murray Abraham and Mark Spector were having a conversation while Steven was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the idiot's in control again. And he's like, wait, I'm the idiot? Like,
I love it.
so that was really fun. And I think that aspect of it really adds a layer to this character. Like I think like most of America and anyone watching worldwide, I think a lot of people don't really know this character. So for us to be introduced in this manner, it kind of adds this really unique element to him that I think it makes for a really fun interaction, especially during like a chase sequence where he's driving a cupcake truck and these guys are calling him an idiot and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just driving. So I thought it was fun as hell. And I think F. Murray Abraham, Ryan called it out too. He's got such a great voice, and I loved him in Grand Budapest Hotel. He's just one of those, he's got those regal like voices, like, you know, he could narrate anything and make it sound exciting, like kind of like Morgan Freeman. It's just such a pleasant tone.
Yeah.
So I love it.
So something I want to bring up real quick before we get to Amanda that kind of just occurred to my head before I lose it is, let's think about it. The story's starting after he gets his powers, and they seem to already be on a mission by going to Harrow's dungeon lair castle thingy-mabob and stealing the pendulum. So my question is, it seems like now they're having a problem of keeping a singular personality in control, or at least it makes it seem that way when Khonshu keeps saying, oh, the idiot's in control now. How? Mark, take control. Mark, take control. And it's just like, Steven, you have to let me take control. So it seems like maybe there's an issue arise there with how the personalities control each other, how Mark controls the personalities and lets one sleep while the other takes control of the body. You know what I mean?
It creates a conflict that's like we haven't really seen before.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that's
like,
why
at
it's
least in
kind of
Venom,
hard to explain it a little bit.
like in Venom always has control, right? But at least in this sense, like,
oh
one
my
of them
God,
has to give it
Amanda,
up,
I
right?
hate you.
Like,
I'm agreeing
So-
with Loretto. I don't understand what I literally just
Well, like-
shook my head for Loretto. I'm not even.
it's
saying
just
anything.
no,
Nope,
because
I'm not
I
even
couldn't help
talking
but make
about
the
that.
reference, but it's just
You're
that,
right.
when we compare the two, Venom's always in control. He doesn't have to ask permission from Eddie. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Dude,
I am off screen, Ryan. I am off screen.
Dude, I know. That's why it's so funny, bro.
Like,
That's why
what can we
it's so
do?
funny.
anything.
But what are your thoughts and opinions on The way
you
he
wanna
portrays the
know?
characters. Yes, I do. I do.
I thought the first episode for Oscar Isaac, I think his physicality was really cool because when Harrow was going for the amulet, he had to act like Steven but think like Mark. So that was conflicting when he was trying to move the amulet around. I thought that was really cool because it's always a challenge for actors to deal with like physical acting and have that like both mindset.
Physicality.
Yeah, it's just really cool how he did that. And I think that takes dedication on Isaac's part to play two different characters within the same scene, in that case, in the same body. So I thought that was really cool. In regards to like Mark Spector to Khonshu, I just really like that dynamic. I can't say a lot of the stuff and things, but it's just really interesting how they all work individually and together moving forward, and that's the best way to say it. But Khonshu's really sick. I think he's like one of the most polished creatures that we've seen in the MCU. I think that he looks really cool. But the other thing that I do want to bring up is that we meet Stephen Grant first, and I feel like he's very relatable. And it grounds the character in London, in the museum, in the gift shop. A lot of people can kind of understand him and sympathize with him. And then when we hear Mark or we hear Khonshu, that's the mythological aspect coming in. So I think that this show has a great balance between the two, and we'll see that in later episodes. And I think that's something that the MCU hasn't really tackled, balancing both of them. It's either really fantastical or it's like really realistic and grounded. So I think that they're both going to bring that to Moon Knight.
So the really unique thing I found about this episode is you don't really get Moon Knight in this episode, which I sort of appreciate because you get to know more of the character of Stephen Mark. You don't get too much of Khonshu because I'm sure they're going to get into how Khonshu became a thing and all that pretty soon. But I'm glad that they stuck the audience in a very confusing and awkward position of not really knowing what's going on, and helps build and develop the characters. So when you do get to that final moment, it's under a lot of stress. He doesn't know what to do. He lets Mark take over and literally fucking this is a scene I would say is straight out of Daredevil. Like, beats someone to the ground, beats this Egyptian beast to the ground, and just drags him back after just all this puddle of water from beating the fucking life out of him, from throwing him all over the place. And then the camera pans to just beating the life out. Super brutal. And I'm just like, boom, boom. You can feel every punch, and you get the perfect sense of who the Moon Knight persona character is going to be going forward. And man, the suit is so fucking cool, my man. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. And I really like how the symbol in the middle turns into the weapon, the hand weapons, the knives or whatever. So he starts throwing them and shit. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
Crescent knives.
Exactly. Exactly. But what do you guys think about that final moment when they finally revealed him and then he walks into the camera for that final shot?
I thought it was great. Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, Debs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it clearly they built up to it. You know, I think they did a really great job of just humanizing Steven's character. I felt bad for him throughout 99% of this episode. And they did, I don't know if you want to credit the directing or the writing or Oscar Isaac's performance, probably all the above, but they really did a good job of building up to that moment. And it was really, really well handled. It honestly gave me Two-Face vibes for my people that watch Batman the Animated Series. Like, that's something we never saw on the live action big screen. This is small screen, but just, you know, there are some scenes where Two-Face in Batman the Animated Series where he's just talking to himself. And I want more of that. I want more of that. And I really thought it was well handled. I thought it was probably one of the most effective ways to end an MCU show premiere. This will probably go down as probably one of the best premieres of any MCU period. And I thought it just made me really hyped It made me really hype. And that's what a premiere is supposed to do, right? A premiere is supposed to like hook you in. And this did its job. This 100% did its job. The credits hit, and I was just like, give me episode 2. And whoever was directing this deserves a ton of credit.
No, yeah. Oh my God, what was it? I think it's.
And the score of this was awesome.
good.
Like, if this
Yeah,
is
it
the
was
start
really
of the score, like, I'm going to be listening to this soundtrack nonstop.
Really good.
I'm trying to remember now. Either the writer or the director of Moon Knight just got hired for a big project.
So what happens is that Mohammed Diab, he did the premiere, he directed the premiere,
Yeah.
and then Moorhead is a writer. There's someone else, I just don't know the last name, but Moorhead wrote and he directed episode 2 and 5, but they're moving on to do something else. Would you just say? Sorry,
I didn't say the project because I forgot the project.
I forgot the project, but they're doing something else.
But,
like huge,
I remember it's a big project, but I just mention it because if they're doing it when the first episode hadn't even released, because I remember this like information released a week ago or something, and they were just getting press junkets and stuff like that, those type of scores. And I think it just shows confidence in the product that they have. And I'm hoping that confidence shows off in the future. I'm kind of upset that they showed 4 episodes out of 6 to press. It doesn't make it makes like it didn't make too much sense. Maybe it's whatever. Whatever. But did anyone want to talk about any other big things that I might not have mentioned?
I just want to add that like getting the suit in the first episode versus having the hero earn it after 6 or 9 episodes is just more effective in this case for this character. So I'm really happy we got at the end of the first, and it's just something different than what we're used to. Because like, we want to see them in their final form, and he looks amazing. So
I think one of my favorite scenes, the ending, I agree, Ryan. The last 10 minutes is terrific, just terrific. But that scene of him at the restaurant was really, really heartbreaking for me. The part where, he finally gets his lucky break. Yes, it was probably Mark. But the dude, thinks it's, Friday, and it's actually Sunday. And I thought Oscar Isaac just put on a powerhouse performance in this scene, just sitting by himself at this, steakhouse.
Yeah.
The waiter literally orders him a well-done steak, which is a violation in itself. Oscar has no idea what a steak is. That was really hard to watch.
Dude, that's literally what I thought too. I'm like, bro, why would you get it well done? And you try
because he the waiter, that's like the
people. The waiter hates him, bro. The
waiter's like, why are you here? You have no idea what is.
I'm just gonna give you a steak that we fucked up.
They're gonna give him the trims and something that probably is. Not
fucking professional, bro.
Dives, I'm really glad you brought that up because I have one personality and I don't know what day of the week it is sometimes. For all I know, today was Monday. I don't know. I just wake up. I'm lost. So
for me, it's been a while. It's been a genuine while since we since Marvel, I think, built up this sympathetic, genuine character. Usually they kind of build up to it, through Wanda, you have heartbreak and tragedy and loss and all these different things. But I just felt straight up bad for Steven this entire episode. But that restaurant scene, man, that really sucked, man. How do you serve a guy a well done steak? You don't do that, man. And then then you look at it on the other side, his best friend is a freaking street mime. So It was just the amount of loneliness and depression.
So deep. I'm about to
oozing out of his character, out of Steven's character, was just.
I'm about to make it more sad with this question right now. So, do you guys think that his mother's dead?
Yeah.
I think his mother's either dead or doesn't exist.
I think it's definitely in play. I was questioning that from the jump. I was like, this is Joker level kind of stuff, psychological stuff we're watching, I think, in the respect that these people might not be there, so who knows? I think that's a great question.
No, yeah, because personally, I think she might be dead. because he could easily just be hearing things and hallucinating. Because from the audience point of view and from a filmmaking perspective, they did not put any type of audio of the mother speaking.
Right.
And they don't miss anything. So that makes me believe that if they're not including audio, he's either talking to nobody and he thinks he is, or
I think his mom passed, and this is his way of like talking to her. I think it's that kind of thing.
It might be that too.
Yeah.
And then, but he
like
also
kind of how Zemo was listening to that voicemail of his family over and over.
Yeah, maybe.
But when you
yeah.
first watch the movie, you think they're alive.
Exactly.
What about
So
the
I think
postcards, though? He's like, "Hey, mom, just making sure you got my message."
It's the best accent.
I don't know how to like. He does like he does it in such a weird way.
I freaking love Isaac so much. But even when like Mark's talking to him in the mirror, like that going back and forth, just ridiculous how he's talking to himself. Like the range is, oh my god, I just love him, and it just gets better. Oh
His British accent was way better than Benedict Cumberbatch. No question. No question. I was impressed with his British accent. I gotta say.
Wait. You think Benedict Cumberbatch does a British accent?
What was the movie? Wasn't there
Wait.
Imitation Game?
Oh my god! Wait, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him?
Benny is British.
Yeah, he's British.
He is?
He's actually British, bro.
Benny, we're gonna clip this. He's just such a convincing American.
My man's watched one too many Marvel movies.
You have to watch Sherlock on BBC.
Oh my god!
My god, that's amazing. Dabs are great.
I never knew that.
Oh man, hey, the Cumberbatch clan is gonna come after you, bro.
The Cumber kids, the Cumber pads.
I'm definitely with Tyler on this one, though. I also argue with myself in the mirror on occasion.
Same, to be honest.
You fucking idiot!
I get it.
Let me take over your body. Like, take me over, Poppy. But yeah, let's get into final thoughts and some final scores for the season premiere or series premiere. Who knows what this show happens with the shows? Amanda, take your face off the screen. I can't get over Tyler's comment. You thought Benedict Cumberbatch was.
I feel like this was not gonna. I'm not gonna live this one down.
No, dude, this shit is gonna be clipped. we should post it saying like, reports coming in.
Breaking news.
British actor Benedict Cumberbatch is actually American.
I love this so much.
Okay, guys, so let's get to some final thoughts and some final scores for the season or series premiere of Moon Knight. Amanda, take us away.
Oh my god. I love this. I think it's my favorite first episode of any of the shows. I think this could easily be my favorite MCU show, period, because for me, I thought the pacing in the first episode alone was miles better than any of the pacing in any of the other shows, to be perfectly honest. It didn't feel overstuffed. I feel like the action scenes came at the right place. Everything was balanced, and I feel like this is the most polished and well-rounded first episode, but I feel like it could do that for the series. I'm just really excited for everyone to watch the next 3 episodes. I'm still not over it. So yeah, I gave it like a 4 out of 5, just because there was a bit of a lull, but not to the point where like I didn't enjoy it. So I just wanted more. I think that's my disappointment, is that I wanted more. But yeah, I really loved this, and I adore Oscar Isaac.
What about you, Loretto?
Oh, so it was very solid, mate. Sorry, I'm just poking fun at you, Dives. But no, seriously, like it was a little hard for me to get into, like watching it half asleep, because I did not watch it at 3 a.m. like you guys, but I did watch it at a time where I was still kind of waking up. But
you act like I watched it at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh well, whatever. But anyways, all that being said, though, I really liked Mohammed Daib's
Yeah.
Mohammed Daib. I really liked his direction, and I'm not sure who did the cinematography for the film for the show, but there were some really cool shots of like puddles of water, and like he walks into the puddle and
the
then it looks up,
reflection.
and yeah, there's a lot of really cool camera work. And ultimately, between Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, I mean, they are the big tickets. They pretty much gave us the steak first. They weren't messing around, kind of like Dibes alluded to. Like they were not messing around. They didn't pull any punches. The suit is freaking gorgeous, and I think the build up to it was appropriate. And for a character that we don't know, it just makes us want more. And I think this show, as a premiere, I think it's like almost a perfect premiere for this type of character and with these caliber of actors. So I think for me, I'll give it, just because it does drag a little bit, especially not knowing what's going on, but I'll give it a solid 8.5 for the premiere.
There has been a moment in this episode that I want to mention real quick that has made me cringe, and I haven't cringed in an MCU movie for a while. And that's when he wakes up in the field and his jaw's dislocated, bro. And he replaces it. I do like that type of like readjustment stuff. Like I can watch anything, but when you put something back in place from a spot it's obviously not supposed to be in, I'm like, bro, just trying to feel it being that fucks with me.
You know,
But-
also real quick, in the elevator, there was almost like some horror film vibes as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
so was that supposed to be
That's
Konosh or whatever?
Khonshu.
Like
That's
with the
Khonshu.
big nose?
Yeah.
He looks like something out of like Silent Hill or like freaking The Shining or something. Like,
That is
is
yeah, that was
Khonshu.
pretty cool.
That's
Daddy
my boy
Khonshu.
Khonshu.
Daddy
Legit.
Khonshu.
Legit. It's so cool.
What about you, Deebs? What are your final thoughts and grade for this episode?
Oh, that was great, man. The fact, like, give me these character studies all freaking day. You know, give me less characters and more in depth, more fleshed out, than more characters and none, like we got in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had no idea what was going on, some of the motivations in that series. Same for Hawkeye. Things are going in and out. The writing gets lazy. I think this has all the makings, all the ingredients of a very, very good show. The film score, the acting, it's all top notch, man. It's all top notch. And the fact that I think, if I had to guess that we're going to be kind of deep diving next into like Mark's character, we're going to deep dive into Mark's character. We're going to deep dive into Khonshu's character. Maybe episode 2 will kind of be like the perspective of Mark and everything that we saw in episode 1. That'd be really fun. We find out what happened with the goldfish. Rest in peace. But I thought this episode was a strong 9 out of 10. This is arguably the best series debut of any MCU show, period. You could easily, put this show on TV and take out that MCU intro, and you have no idea that this is a Marvel show. And what a freaking breath of fresh air that is, man. I love how Marvel keeps reinventing itself, just like they did with WandaVision and now this, man. Those like shows, that documentary that they released right after the last episode they did with like WandaVision, and I'm really excited for this one too. Just to learn a little bit more in depth of Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac. So I feel like they learned a lot of their lessons from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're being rewarded here with just amazing acting and just a really good story. That's kind of what Daredevil was. Like, it's not. It does have a couple of amazing action sequences, but the story is really compelling, and I'm really excited for the story they're going to tell me.
Honestly, absolutely 9 out of 10 with you, Deebs. This episode was awesome. And when I say awesome, it was awesome. Totally feels reinventing, just like what the MCU does. It brings in Oscar Isaac, and I want to mention something about this that truly feels unique and original, is this truly does feel like the very first Disney Plus Marvel original origin story. So this is when I really feel like we were meant to get from Marvel when it comes to new Disney stuff, because when it comes to the Marvel stuff that we've gotten new shows, we've seen a bunch of new characters, we've pushed the boundaries on what we've gotten in those shows already with WandaVision, with Loki. with What If, even since they're already connecting that. And it feels so nice to have something different.
Yeah.
And God bless them, bro. God bless them, because they did learn. I thought WandaVision was awesome for being the first show, but then Falcon and the Winter Soldier really dampened me a little bit, because it felt rushed. It felt like something was missing. But now I really feel like this is the Disney Plus that they're meant to give us. And you know what? Ethan Hawke, man, with him being cast as a villain recently between this and the Black Phone, man, I hope we start getting more villainous Ethan Hawke, because my man is menacing as a motherfucker. And while he might not physically be as scary as Moon Knight and bro, I'm seeing Morbius tomorrow night and I'm already regretting it.
Tyler.
I'm already regretting it.
Are you really shocked? Are you really shocked?
I'm so excited to watch it. I'm so stoked.
James,
Yay,
I'm not drunk, but I'm crying. But I'll just leave it at that. This first episode is a 9 out of 10. Does anyone want to say one last thing before I do final wrap up?
Yes, I do. And you
dude.
kind of started it off, and I'm really happy you did. The Mummy. I don't know, like, I consider myself one of like the biggest fans of the Mummy franchise, and I was just that has me hooked, man. I'm waiting for Emotep to show up here in episode 4. I just love that Egyptian mythology so much, and I'm excited to get more of that. And it kind of like episode 1 brought me back to that, and the Mummy franchise is the freaking best. I wasn't expecting those emerging feelings, but I did have them. And when you see like the hieroglyphs and the Cairo, the miniature of the pyramid, and like I'm all in. I'm all in. That was like literally like 5 minutes in. I'm all in.
Well, not like Tom Cruise the Mummy.
No.
That one doesn't exist.
That one's just washed from the memory, bro. Just a little scrub it up dub. But guys, thank you so much for catching up with us, watching Moon Knight episode 1, and tell us down below what's your thoughts and opinions on this. What would you grade it? What are your hopes? What are your feelings towards the show, and what you want in the future? Tell us what you'd grade this episode, what you liked, what you didn't like. And guys, this episode is brought to you by the Music City Drive-In Network. Go check them out. They're a bunch of great people, and we love collaborating with them. And guys, some exciting stuff next week. Next Tuesday, April 5th, we have got the championship draft.
Let's go.
10 champions. Even though I only put 5 hands up, 10 champions. 1 winner. Who will it be? $5 says it's not Deebs.
That's
$5. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure I at least beat Deebs.
I gotta do the bracket soon here.
We got it, baby. We got it. And
I
guys,
don't care. It's gonna be fun.
it's going to be a blast. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this for a while. We've got a great group of people, and it's going to be a blast. And guys, we have announced on Twitter, and I'll say it live. It's best movie draft of all time. Any film applies to this. 6 films, any movie, 40 plus minutes is what they do to consider it a film. Just say that now, because you know what? You got to clarify sometimes, baby. But you know what, guys? Check out our socials. Check out our Twitter and Instagram at the Suit Up Geeks. Don't forget to hit those follow buttons. Like, comment, and subscribe down below and let us know what you thought. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.